And now for French knots, what I did was I started it, but on the back. So I'm fastening the needle to the other existing work just to get the knot out of the way, because I don't want the knot to mess me up when I'm doing my French knots.
Okay.
Okay, so I've taken my contrast and color and I've fastened it to the existing work. And then I can go right up where I want the knot. So I'm coming up, and you can see I've got these black dots that I drew to say where I want them. I'm actually going to put more knots there than I'm showing in dots. But you see how there's some width to the dot, and the trick for a French knot is not to use the same hole that you came up in. If you use the same hole that you came up in, your knot's going to go right through the fabric. It's not
right. It pulls out.
It pulls out. So what you need is you need to hook it over at least 1 or 2 threads. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go down on the other side of my black dot. It's not very far away, but it's just a couple of threads of the fabric so that it'll hold the knot in place. So then you wrap the needle from the base out. You're going to wrap the needle. So this diagram shows wrapping it 1 time. I'm wrapping it 2 times. You can wrap it 2, 3, 4 times to make a fatter knot or a slimmer knot. It's up to you. But they need to be, before you put your needle down, you're going to need to have it be a couple of threads beyond where you came up. So you wrap the needle and then snug those layers down together before you put the needle through. Here's where you can control it. While you still have your needle up, you're going to control that knot. So you can see I snugged it down. So it's not looped, it's actually knotted. And then put the needle down through. And you can see, because I've got it snug here, it comes out nice and neat here.
Got to go get some other thread.
Okay. So I made a whole bunch of French knots to fill the center. And for people watching the video, I put the handout here, and you'll have the handout that you can print and copy. It's just a 1-pager. It's actually from Paul's Needlework magazine from 1988. So is anybody making French knots yet?
I already know how to make French knots. It's
Show me.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's the eyes of the birds that are on.
Perfect. That looks great.
So and I've been working on my chain stitch. The red is the chain stitch. And when you had mentioned about your grandmother looking at the back of the work, so this is the back.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That looks great. That looks great. What you don't want to do is travel too far on the back so that you get a big long loop. So going 1 inch or 2 like you've done is great. But if you went 5 inches, for example, then it's likely to get caught and pulled, you know, when you're working with it. So you want to make sure you don't travel too far without looping it somewhere.
Yeah. So
you have to have it close, right?
Yeah. This is the back of my work, and so the red is the chain.
Perfect.
So. Oh, right. That looks good.
Looks very
even. So
all this work, I don't want to give it away.
That's right. I know.
I'm going to have to drop off in a couple of minutes. I have my 12 o'clock daycare.
Very good.
Call. So
thank
yeah,
you,
but
Betty.
you know, even I knew all the stitches, but I wanted to, you know, I wanted company. So that's why I had logged in.
You're so good at embroidery. That skirt is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
The skirt you're making. Okay, I'm going to try again, Joyce. Here we go.
Okay.
I've got the...
This time, try wrapping it only 2 times. It's a little easier to control.
1, 2. And then
And then down, make sure you're a couple of threads from your up.
A couple threads away.
Yeah. So that it has something to hang on to.
Okay.
Yeah, if you use
It
the
always
same-
ends up like that. It always ends up like that. It doesn't make a knot. I don't know.
Well,
I'm doing something
try-
wrong.
Try a few more times.
Is it too long? Am I too long here?
No, you're fine.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Push it down,
Not the same hole.
a different hole.
Make a new hole. But before you actually put the needle through, while you still have it on top, snug that up.
How do I snug it up?
Just pull the long end so that it wraps tightly around your needle. All those twists should be wrapped neatly around your needle.
Okay, wait a second.
And down close to the fabric.
One of the strands is separated from the other one.
Don't worry about that too much. Let's just not worry about that right now. Let's worry
But it
about
won't pull through. It won't pull through to snug it up.
Let me put my picture up one more time so you can see it.
Can you wet the thread so it will stick? Row in? Can you wet the thread so it will stick?
Ugh. No, it doesn't make a knot. It just makes a little stitch. I have like I make a little stitch. 1, 2, 3. Snug it up. Snug it up, but it doesn't really snug up.
Can you see my picture?
Yeah, mine doesn't work that way. It just turns into a little stitch.
All right, can you see the picture? Look at the picture for a minute. Can you see the picture?
Yeah, mine doesn't look anything like that before I pull it through.
Okay,
It's
so
all loose.
but let's just look at the picture and let me tell you again. So you wrap the thread. I wrapped mine twice around my needle. I've got the needle aimed through the new hole. I've pulled the long tail so that it wraps snugly around the tip of the needle. Right?
That's what I can't do. I can't pull it through to wrap snugly.
Well,
this is what's happened.
You can, Bronwyn, you can. It's just a matter of doing it. So
I'll try again.
Look at the way I've wrapped the needle.
Right,
So,
I'm gonna bring the needle up. I'll have the thread the way you have it.
Wrap the needle up like this.
Make sure this is not twisted.
Now I've twisted it around the needle. Then I'm going to put the tip of the needle into the new hole and snug it.
Do you snug it from the top? Where do you snug it from?
Look at my picture. See the needle, see the wrapping, and see this long tail? Everything that's not wrapped around the needle is what I'm calling the tail. So I'm going to grab hold of this tail and pull it and get it snug around the needle. This is before I draw it through the fabric because now this is the time to control it.
Right. Well, I'll try it again, but it's not working for me. I'll try it once again. This is about the 10th time.
All right, one more time.
It doesn't work for me. It just always turns into a little stitch.
All right, so if it doesn't work this time, you and I will take it offline and do a tutorial.
Okay.
But I think you're going to do it. So you're going to wrap it, put the needle into the fabric in your new hole, but don't go through yet. Just take the time right now to snug it up around the needle and then draw it through. How we doing?
Well, I'll try it again, but I don't get it snugged up. And so when I pull it through, it's hard to snug it up.
All right.
Maybe it would help to have an embroidery needle instead of a sharp.
It won't make any difference. It won't make any difference at all. What you're doing right now is not dependent on the needle. It's dependent on
Okay, that's what I have. It's very loose.
Okay.
I'm trying to snug it up. So how do I snug it up? I
Pull
pull
the
this,
pull the long
pull the
tape
long one,
so that you're wrapping it more tightly around your needle.
and pull, and then pull it through.
Yep.
And that's what I get. I don't get a knot. I get a little stitch.
Okay. So it sounds like you and I need to work on that some more offline. Anybody else have any more questions?
I'm learning a lot just by watching.
Okay, great.
So brought the thread up like that. Drag it down here and wrap the thread and hold it. And go down close to, but not into the same hole where it came up. And now I'm going to draw the head thread down through and complete the knot. I'll do it one more time. Come up. And now I go down here and wrap the thread. And now I'm going to stick it into my fabric close to that, oops, sorry. So wrap it like this. Then find a place to put the needle that's close to the hole where it came up, but not the same hole. And now draw it down through. But now, for example, if it's not snug around that needle, I can just pull on this to get it snug. Sorry, and then down through the hole to secure the knot. And you can see they're all pretty much the same size because I'm using the same thread and the same number of wraps. Wrap, oops, wrap the thread and go down near the same hole, but not in the same. Snug it a little bit. Okay.
So anyway, and so show me your piece one more time. Let's see how you're doing. Hold it steady for count to 5. Looking good. Okay, so it's just
Yeah.
practice. It's just about practice. I mean, I've been doing them since I was a little kid, so that's, you know, I've got.
I'm pretty happy with the line. The line looks good.
The line does look good. So there are places where so it could be better. Again, practice. Just
Right.
before you tackle that piece of your great grandmother's, I would practice some. But all of the stitches that are in the piece you want to do are in that handout. And if you
Great.
if you
I'll
have
have to
any
print it
trouble
out.
with it, just let me know.
Yeah, I'll have to print it out. That would be great.